to the studio for August 12 and 12 for 30. And I have gessoed my page. I've put some tape in the spine, and I have gessoed this. This is, I think this is mixed media paper. I'm not quite positive. It's not all that thick. So I find it is bleeding through in the spine when I use a lot of water liquid mediums. So I have to admit that I have been inspired this month actually from a tag I did in July for Dee Dee Catron. Had a small little 5-day challenge on using pieces of sari from a rug, and you can see that on hashtag Dee Dee's rug challenge is the hashtag. But this was the last day and it was negative space, and I created this tag for that. And you know, I'm in love with this pyro red right now, and this tag is kind of going to be a jumping point for what I'm going to do today and here. I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is my inspiration. So I'm actually going to put this up here and just keep it in my sights and go from there. So as always, the 12 and 12 for 30 is done for 30 minutes, not including dry time. So I do have my timer out, and we're gonna get started as soon as this dries. So I'm gonna give it a few more minutes to dry, and then we're gonna dive right in. Stuff is awesome. This is some of the new Tim Holtz idea-ology collage paper. This one's the Typeset one, and it's what I had used in the tag that I am using as a starting point. So I thought I'd use some of that. And also there was some of those little squares, so I did use that punch. That punch is super old. I've had it for a really long time. So I'm not quite sure where that came from, but so I'm going to start off with getting this tissue paper off the roll laid down. So I've pulled out a little of my gesso, and I'm just getting some of that. I'm just trying to bring some of the edges of that tissue paper, kind of bring it in to be part of that background. I'm leaving it pretty thick, and then in other areas pretty thin. And now that that is good and dry, I'm pulling out this StencilGirl stencil called Rolls. There's some circular areas in the fabric that I had on that tag that I'm just trying to mimic it a little bit. So I actually pull this out. I'm trying to get everything protected because I'm going to be using some of the Liquitex Professional spray paint, which I am in love with. Yeah, it's awesome stuff. It does not have a scent. It's amazing. I'm sure you should use it with some ventilation. I am futzing with this page. It's kind of wrinkled, and so I had a hard time getting a good flush of that stencil against the paper. So you see me futzing with that a little bit, but yeah, I love the overspray effect. Yeah, just in love with that stuff. So I did actually use a little bit of my dryer to dry that a little bit so I could get right back into it. It dries pretty fast, but I wanted to make sure. So this is that sari fabric that I had used in the original tag. So I decided I was going to go ahead and bring it in because I really wanted that pop of color. So I also decided I was going to sew it in, and sewing it on the left page wasn't an option because I'd already worked on that page last month. So on the right it went, and this is just some DMC floss that I'm using. I'm doubling it over and just doing some real random stitching to get that adhered to the right side of the layout. With those little squares, I just was trying to get something that was balanced, but I didn't want an even number on the page. So that was why I selected the location that I did for those little squares. I was trying to also mimic kind of the format that I had put them on the original tag as well. So I brought the tag out because I wanted to see how much it was similar to the tag, since I was using that as my inspiration. And then once I saw it on that page, I was like, oh my gosh, this needs to go on this layout. So I decided at that point it needed to go on the layout, and like totally dove in and pulled out my my new current favorite color of paint, which is the Pyrrole Red. So that's what we're doing now, getting that put down. And I really felt like this layout needed to be balanced, and there was so much going on the right side. So I went in with the red on the left, and then you'll see I'll go back in here in a minute and heavy that up a little bit just so I have something that's more balanced. So that is a wrap. That went by, that happened and came together so much faster than I thought it was going to. I hope you enjoyed this month's art journaling 12 and 12 for 30. Thank you for watching.